Hey, seventh graders. We are going to be doing some calculator practice today. We get to use a calculator in portions of our MCA test, and so I want you guys to just be familiar with doing a few different functions on there. You can use the graphing calculator, or I shouldn't say the graphing calculators, the calculators that we have in our classroom. The one that you guys will see on the MCA test looks just like the white ones that we have. You can also use it on your Chromebook, and I've linked it here on your page. This will be on our Google Classroom. So if you guys are using your Chromebooks, you can just go to my Google Classroom and go to that calculator practice. You do need to select the one that's for 6th and 7th graders. You guys are just using a scientific calculator. And so this will load and you guys should be able to, it brings you to like a TestNav website. And then just click start. It's kind of like we're starting a test, but there's not going to be any questions. And then at the top here, you've got the option to use a calculator. And so you guys will see in a second that this one looks just like the one in our classroom. Okay. So this calculator, I think that it will let me move it. Oh yeah. I feel like I don't have not a lot of room, but we are going to be practicing how to do exponents, square root, some of the stuff you guys already know how to do, fractions, and scientific notation. Your directions aren't going to match perfectly with this calculator. That's why I'm doing this video, because this is for the graphing calculator, but we can still do all of the same functions. So for example, the first packet or the first section is exponents. So if we want to do 7 squared, you are going to click the 7 button and then this x2, and then you can press enter and we get 49. Okay, if you want to click, if we want a different type of exponent, like a cubed or a fifth, we get to use just one different button. It's right here, this little arrow button, and then it brings it up higher and you can put in the 3 and click enter. If we want to do 7 to the 5th, you can just do that and put enter. So I encourage you to go through those 3 examples just like they have on the sheet, because they have the answers there, so you can make sure you're doing it correctly before you move on to the little work page that goes along with it. The next page that we are going to do are the graphing the roots. Okay, in order to do the square root of something, you're going to use that x2 button, but you need to access the second function. And so you're going to click the second button, then the square root, and then you can put your number here, and then you're going to put enter. Now what this gives you a simplified radical. Okay, we haven't done a ton with this, but this is a simplified radical, and you're going to want a decimal. So you're going to click this double arrow button, and that's going to give you that decimal. I believe actually it does not tell you what they want the answer to come out to. So if they give you a decimal, just go to 2 places. Go to the the hundredths place if you have to do any rounding on this worksheet. They also have some problems in there that have a different number than just the squared. And so to do that, you're going to put the number. So if they have 4, the square root of 8, you're going to hit the 4, and then you have to hit the second, and then this radical button, and then you can put the 8 in there. So it should look just like it does on your page, and then hit enter, and that one will give you a decimal right away. So those are your square roots. Actually, I don't think any of the problems on your worksheet have that perfect. The 2 there, they're all going to be different kind of roots, but it's just good to know how to use those functions. The next type of problems are scientific notation. In scientific notation, like I said, these examples won't work for you, but your calculator can do scientific notation. It's really easy. So we're going to put 4, and then you're going to use your decimal point 2. And then if you guys look up here, this button has times 10, and then they give you the little spot to put in the 5, and then you can click enter, and it gives you to inside standard notation. If you want to go the other direction, we should be able to put in our number. I was going to do, so 5, 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the example that they gave us here. And let's see what it does. Sorry, just give me 1 second on this. Okay, so if we need to use scientific notation and we want to take it from standard to scientific, we have to change the mode of the calculator. So you're going to click mode, and then you can use your toggle buttons. And then I'm going to go down, and you see this SCI, that is scientific. And then you hit enter, and then you just clear to get out of the screen. So we're going to take that number that they had, and I believe it was 5,420,000, 1, 2, 3. And when you click enter, it puts it into scientific notation for you. So then the next type of problem that they have is if you have an operation, something happening with those scientific notations. So there's multiplication, addition, and subtraction, and you can do all of those operations the same way as long as you enter the information into your calculator correctly. So you can leave it in this mode. We can use parentheses to go around each of our scientific notation problems. So for example, I'm going to do number 7 off your worksheet. This is 2, and then you hit your scientific notation to the 12th. You do just use this toggle button to get down from that upper 12, and then get rid of that. And then you're going to do, this one is times, and then we're going to start another parenthesis. So I'm basically just writing it as I see it. Use this for your scientific notation, and this is to the 11th, and then bring that down, and then you hit enter, and it gives you the answer in scientific notation, which is what we want that answer to be in. So that is all you need to know for doing operations in scientific notation. We're going to do some decimal to fractions and fractions problems, but we need to take our mode and we need to go back to the normal mode. Otherwise, it won't let us do our work. Okay, and then select it and you want to push enter and then just click clear. And I'm going to clear that calculator again. So we want to be able to take it from a decimal into a fraction. So we're just going to put in your decimal. And then if you guys look right here, I have this F to D, D to F type thing. You click second, click that button, and it shows you that it's going back and forth from a fraction to a decimal. And if you click enter, it changes it into a fraction for you, which is pretty cool. And let's just try a decimal that has a whole number. Again, you go to second and then click this. It says table on it, but it has that F to D. And then you click enter and it gives it to you as an improper fraction. You also can take a repeating decimal to a fraction. And when you do that, you just have to make sure you enter enough of that repeating decimal. They say 12. I just filled my screen with it. And then I did my second function, did it to fraction to decimal, and then it gave me 8/9. You can do this with if more than one digit repeats as well. It's a little bit slower, but. And then same exact thing, you go to the second button, click this, and click enter. Then the other one is entering mixed numbers and being able to do operations with mixed numbers. On this calculator, it is fairly simple. You hit the second button and then you can click this N over D or the UN over D, and it gives you 3 spots to put in a number. So for example, this is 2 1/4 is our first example. You use this toggle button to move over. So this is going to be 1, and then you can click down, and then 4. I believe you can also use the toggle buttons on your computer as well. And then click over to decide what operation we're doing. So we're going to add. And then on this problem, on the example, I'm just doing the problem off the example sheet. I'm doing 5 7/8. So again, I'm going to this mixed number. I have 5, click over 7. Oops. And you can move around if you misclick on something. Ace over, and you enter, and it gives you that number. And it will simplify it for you as well. It just won't write it into a mixed number. Okay. And so they have, that sheet has addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, but it's still, all the entering is the same way. So hopefully that video along with these instructions will be enough to get you through the packet. It's just really